Hey folks, and welcome to TK Power Sports. This is Steven coming at you from behind the camera, and today we're down here in a very warm Texas looking at this. This is the brand new 2024 Kawasaki Mule 1000. Yes, Kawasaki's now put a big 1000 into its workhorse, the Mule, and I'm going to show you all around it. So in this video, we're just going to do a walk around on this unit right here. I'm going to tell you all the features, everything that's new and exciting about this, and then really soon, probably in the next week or two, I'll release a full review on this unit where we ride it and I tell you how it is. So first of all, let's talk about what we're looking at right here. This Mule in front of you is a Mule Pro FXT Ranch Edition. So this one has a couple extras added to it thanks to that Ranch Edition. But the FXT means that you're getting 2 rows of seats, and that if you want to, you can fit 6 people in this model. Now, styling on all of the Mules has been updated. Every single one gets the quad headlights now. You get this cool 3D Kawasaki badge up there. It's not a huge styling update. Definitely evolution over revolution, but they all do look a little different now. And you can go ahead and jump in the comments even right now and let me know, what do you think of just the way this updated Mule looks. Now, I mentioned this is the Mule 1000, and I actually left the dump bed up on purpose so we can just take a look at that new engine. So there it is right there. This is a 999cc parallel twin engine. Kawasaki says that horsepower is up by 49%, torque is up by 27%, and top speed is increased by 30%. So more power, more speed all around. Now, outside of just the power though, they've also done some maintenance things. I'll swing around to the other side. For example, the oil filter, which used to be much harder to get to and was located closer to the bottom of the engine, is now right down in here. And it's a top mount oil filter, so it's also not going to make a mess when you change your oil. So Kawasaki really paid attention to things like that to not only add all that power, but then to make this thing a little bit easier to live with as well. Now, you can see with this FXT model, the dump bed still works, but it does actually dump with the entire second row. And I'll put this back down now. But there's one other trick that this model has as well, and that is this trans cab bed. So if we loosen these guys right here, 1 and 2, you'll see these extra little cutouts right here for the bed walls. Once that's all loose, this entire deck here slides forward like that. It's a little easier with 2 people, but it can be done by yourself. You're just going to have to go back and forth a few times. And this is going to extend that bed. So this model, you really do get a choice. Do you want to haul people or do you want to haul stuff? And of course, even with that the second row in use, you have a decent sized bed, but you gain quite a bit when you push that seat forward. Now, of course, because it's a Mule, Kawasaki always uses this real diamond plate steel for their bed floors. I appreciate that. And I've talked about this before, but I mean, I've been to the factory. They actually punch this diamond plating themselves. A lot of other manufacturers just get it from a supplier, but not Kawasaki. They actually make it all themselves in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I think that helps just with the fit and finish to make sure they can make it so that it works for their machine perfectly. Now, outside of all that stuff, let's take a look at the interior. Certainly not a ton has changed in here either. You still have the same shifter as before. Just an actual parking brake here. There's no park in the transmission. A lot of other brands have done that. Kawasaki hasn't. It's still just an old school parking brake. Now, I do get a cup holder right there. Decent amount of storage right there. A second cup holder. Inside the glove box is quite deep, which is nice. So a nice amount of storage in this model as well up front. And then there's also this seat, which should flip forward for me. Oh, pops right off actually, and reveals that guy. You get a little storage bin right there underneath your driver's seat as well. That's kind of handy. And then of course, access there to your fuel tank, access down there to some drive shafts, and they slotted 2 more cup holders in there as well, which is nice. Now, as I put this seat bottom back on, let me tell you, these seats are super cushy as well. They're really thick foam, nice padding, fairly vertical seating position, but that's okay if the seats are comfortable enough, right? Especially for a utility machine. Let me hit you with a few numbers right now because all of these suspension numbers are also improved. So suspension travel is up to 11 inches in the front and 10.1 inches in the rear. And that's almost 1.5 inches improvement, a little bit more than that actually. Now, standard ground clearance goes up to 11.6 inches, but it doesn't matter which model you get. On this FXT model, the max ground clearance is 12.6 inches, which is pretty substantial. On the FXR, which is sort of the trail riding model, you're talking about 13.2 inches of ground clearance. And then on the FX, which is more of the work model, you're talking 11.9 inches of ground clearance. So you can get quite a bit of clearance, and that's all improved for the 2024 model year. Now, other things Kawi did, they moved the air intake. Once again, they brought it higher up, so it's not going to ingest anything. It's going to be grabbing clean air, and you're not going to have to worry. Talking about rear suspension here, on some of these models, Kawasaki has added self-leveling rear suspension. And what that is basically going to do, it's a passive system, so there's no pumps or anything like that, but within the shock there's some valves. So if you were to load this thing down and the ride height of the rear comes down, as you bounce down the road or down the trail, those valves are going to allow this thing to pump itself back up, which is pretty impressive. And it's a big deal when you're towing or when you're hauling payload to be able to achieve that nice level attitude within your vehicle. So this is not a new technology. It's been around in automotive for quite a while. Other power sports manufacturers have used it, but now Kawasaki's jumping on board. And if towing and hauling heavy weights are a priority for you, the self-leveling is a pretty big deal. And then when it comes to those weights, you're talking about a 2,000 pound tow rating here on this model. And then I can zoom in on the sticker there. When you're in long bed mode, as we are here, you get 1,000 pounds, and then short bed mode, they only rate it for 350. And I'm assuming that's just to compensate for the amount of people that you're gonna have up front when you have this thing down in the short bed configuration. But that transcab system is really neat and could be very helpful. And it's nice that it doesn't get rid of the dumping capability of your mule. There's one other model I can show you here right now. This is the FXR model. So Kawasaki takes the Mule and they add a few things to it to make it a little better for trail riding. Slightly larger 27-inch tires, a little bit more clearance that I talked about. And then again, just styling, of course. They try to make it look a little bit cooler than the rest of the ones in the lineup. Because like I mentioned, this is the model you might buy if you just want to go have fun on the trail and then do a little bit of work. So you get the unique FXR badging, the unique seats, although these are still the same super cushy seats, which is nice. And then here, no trans cab, no second row, just the cargo bed, which of course is a dumping bed as well. Well, folks, we are coming down to the end of this video. So then one thing I do want to toss up for you guys here is pricing, because there's pricing for all of these different units. So again, I can throw it up on screen here so you can take a look at how much you're going to be spending on one of these new thousands. So yeah, there's a lot of little changes here. Looks a little bit different, a couple different things on the inside, but the biggest difference is going to be that brand new power plant. This Mule with 1,000 should be a monster, should be fun on the trail, and it should be excellent for working with. But of course, I don't know yet till I drive it. So please come back to the channel within the next week or two, and we will release our full review on this Kawasaki Mule 1000. As for right now, please go in the comments and drop in any questions you might have about it, and I will do my best to get answers for you guys. And then, as always, please go below, drop a comment, hit like, hit subscribe, and then come right back here to TK Power Sports to see the full review on this Kawasaki Mule and to see what we're testing next. See ya.